Back in the locker room, Touch and Wolf, this segment brought to you by Sprint. Joining us, the legend himself, our good buddy Myron Cope. Myron, people ask me this all the time. I'm sure they ask you, do you miss it?
Well, only when the Steelers do something really stupid, and I wish I had a mic in my hand and yell at them, or the coach, you know. Outside of that, and I do miss oft times having my radio talk show or my radio and television commentaries when I'm worked up about something I can't shoot off my mouth.
Right.
Like right now, you know, I was reading about it in the paper this morning. Jerry Dulac, the Post-Gazette golf writer, he's writing about all those trees that Oak wants
cut down
for the U.S. Open. And, you know, when I first heard about that, I thought, my goodness. And he specifies today between 5,000 and 6,000 trees. Well, he's not beefing, but I get so mad, and I say to myself, every one of those club members at Oakmont who voted for this, and I think it was, they ended up making it unanimous even. I read somewhere, I think I saw that Frank or Fuhrer resisted, but they persuaded him to vote for it. Every one of those guys, the week of the Open, should be punished. Instead of walking in the mornings and all day around that course in their green blazers, all those members who voted to knock down over 5,000 gorgeous trees should be sent to a specified school. Because, you know, it's summertime by then. June schools are out, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they got lots of space and blackboards. And each one of them should be made to go to a school and write 1,000 times on the board. The immortal words of the poet Joyce Kilmer, I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. But how's it go? A poet. I'm a poet, something like this. A fool like me. Only God can make a tree, and they should write that 1,000 times. And then, at the middle of the week, in fact, we'll make it Friday when it's getting serious. The tournament, the pro-am's behind in the first couple. Friday they should be still at the schools, and there was a great writer of light verse called Ogden Nash, famous, and he did a sort of a follow-up on Joyce Kilmer, and they shouldn't have to write that 1,000 times each morning. But I think that I shall never see a billboard lovely as a tree until all those billboards fall. I shall never see a tree at all. 1,000 times for no bums. And I don't care their excuses for knocking down a tree.
You know, what's interesting to me is you made a statement.
Beasts is what they are.
Well, going back to the original thing, do you miss it now? I can remember several years ago, Matt, when I first joined the broadcast group, all right, and you said you were going to be in the booth until Muammar Gaddafi in Libya.
Yeah, Libya.
Gaddafi, you said you're going to be there longer than Gaddafi. Now, Gaddafi, he's still over in Libya as far as I know. Now, you checked out. Now, come on.
Well, I did. Gaddafi started the same time I started in the Steeler booth. He started as the hated dictator of Libya. And he was. And is, but he got pacified under pressure. But well, that's politics, I say. But anyways, he's still in power, and I ain't.
You still are, bud.
One of the things that we played for the great Chuck Noll, and Chuck had an impact on just about every player, maybe with the exception of Lambert, I think. But he had that thing, that aura, that way to.
Why is Lambert the exception?
Because Lambert didn't seem to be bothered by it. Lambert I think Lambert and probably Mel, even
Mel?
even Joe, not even Joe, and you wouldn't think that it had an effect on Joe, but Joe said the same thing. There was something about Chuck that would intimidate you. They could intimidate you.
Oh yeah.
And your relationship with him over years. I know that you guys got together at your house to do his talk show, and he would fix things for you?
His radio, his coach's show. Sometimes we'd tape it at my place.
So what was your relationship like, and how did you perceive him?
Well, you know, in the beginning, let's put it this way, it took him only 5 years to trust me. Yeah, where he'd tell me something off the record. But, you know, most guys you never trust. But he was not the person at all that his public image conveyed. Not at all. You know, people would come up to him in the airport while the Steelers are waiting to board a plane, and they'd hesitate. Can we go up to him and ask for his autograph? So some of them would get up the nerve, and he'd say to them, "Oh, nice to meet you. Where are you from? What do you do?" And all that with a pleasant smile and nicely sign the autograph. And they would go back outside the rope, and they'd say, "My goodness, he's a nice fellow." And, you know, he was portrayed as this fierce guy. You know, he'd bite your head off. And with you guys, he could.
Yeah.
Right.
And if he walked past you in the hall and gave you that glare he had, you remember the glare, man.
Yeah,
It bore a hole through your head. That meant
absolutely.
he hated the game you played.
He was the king of nonverbal communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he gave me that glare once. And we were taping his coach's show on a Friday morning in his office. And he didn't like a question I put to him. And he didn't answer it. He just sat there giving me the hole in the head glare. And all I did, I sat there saying, "Cope, this kid's 2 years younger than you. Don't melt." So finally, I don't know, it seemed like an eternity, but whatever time passed, he said, "Start the tape over." So we started it over. And I dumped the question. It's his show. It's not the Myron Cope show. It's a Chuck Noll show.
Now, Chuck was intimidating, and one of the most intimidating guys I think that ever got in the black and gold was a guy named Ernie Fats Holmes.
Oh, boy.
And you tell a story about the time that the fat man said grabbed hold of you and wanted you to go have a little hot toddy with him.
Yeah, well, we're out on the coast in L.A., and, you know, we'd flown in on a Saturday for a Sunday game, and I'm downstairs in the bar. It's a floor below the lobby, and I'm down there with the other guys, the media, having a toddy. And then about 10 o'clock, I said, "Boys," I said, "I'm tired from the trip. I'm going to check in early. I'll see you." So I walk up to the lobby, and I punch the elevator button. And at that time, you know, the players in those days could go out and go to a restaurant of their choice. They can't anymore, or at least under Cowher. But they'd start coming in because they had an 11 o'clock curfew, you guys know. And so they're straggling in, and here comes the fat man, Ernie Fats Holmes. You know, he's huge and everything, and he's known as being unpredictable. That's nicely put, right? You don't want to be on the fat man's
Unpredictable,
bed.
yes.
So he sees me at the elevator, and he stares down at me with them beady eyes, and he says, "Cope, let's go downstairs and have a Courvoisier." That was his favorite, see, little thimble of liqueur. I said, "Sounds good to me, Fats," because I don't want to be on the fat man's bad side.
Right.
Down we go, and we're having a little Courvoisier and film music. One of the newspaper guys sidles up, and he says, "I thought you were tired and going to bed." And I told him what happened upstairs. I related. The fat man said, "Let's go down to the bar and have a Courvoisier." And I says, if he had said, "Cope, let's go down to the bar and have an enema," I'd be down here having an enema.
Oh, man.
I love that. That's
that is beautiful. Yeah.
The only guy who could handle him was Joe Green.
Now, Myron, one more question before we... Yeah.
He's a preacher.
Yeah.
And in Texas, and he came clear up from Texas when the Steelers threw me a retirement party in the East Club of the
Right. He was there. That's right.
He was there. He's a preacher.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back to close out this show with Myron Cope right here in the locker room.